Hey everybody, Denise with Off Leash Canine Training out here in Phoenix. I'm on vacation this week, no dogs, I get a break. Every once in a while they let us take one. But I wanted to make a quick video for everybody. One of the biggest questions we get asked is, can we come visit our dog during the board and train? Can we see where they're staying? And unfortunately, for the safety of our trainers and their families, we don't allow visitations. We don't give out our home addresses. We've had a few incidents in the past, not necessarily here, but at other locations where the safety of the trainers and their families have been compromised, and even their dogs. So we don't allow the visits, we don't disclose our home information. But what I wanted to do today is to give you a tour of my home. It'll give you a great idea of, the setup, at least for here, but it gives you a great idea for our trainers in general and how our setups are. Everything is gonna be a little different for each trainer, but we get to give you that look in to see things. So here, kitchen. I don't use the kitchen very much. I'm allergic to cooking. I use it more for my dogs and their food and preparing. My fridge is full of their food and a couple of TV dinners for me. But one thing I want to point out, one thing for the dogs that we definitely use and that I love is this Primo system. It's your typical watering jug, but as you can see down at the bottom, there's actually a water bowl here. And if I press this button up here, the water actually fills down here. So they're getting filtered water. It's actually pretty cool water. It cools it down pretty well. It's not going to be freezing cold because dogs don't need the freezing cold. But that's one of their watering supplies here at my house. Next up, it's going to be the living room. Typical living room. Say hi, Danica. This is where we hang out at the end of the day when training's done. I take the opportunity to give each dog some time to just relax and be a dog. If they can play, if they're playful, they get to play with the girls. If not, they're playing with me. And as you can see, right over there, toy box. I have a million toys here. I always tell clients, don't worry about bringing toys for your dog because I have one of everything. And couple of reasons for that. If I were to give the dog their toy in their kennel, we have the potential that they could tear it apart and possibly swallow pieces. So we don't give them to them in the kennels. But also if I give them to them out of the kennels, I don't want to get them mixed up with the toys I already have. And I have a ton. I don't remember every toy that I have. So by just leaving their toys at home and them using what I have here, just makes things a lot easier. And I can tell you, I have one of everything. So, bedroom, typical bedroom. A lot of times when dogs want to hang out, they always find my bed. Craziest thing, but they do. So next up, we're going to go to the one front room. Not a lot happens in here other than toy box, toy box, toy box, toy box. Plenty of toys for them. This is where most of the toys are at, so they come in here a lot and they'll play. This is also where I hang out, work on videos, work on business stuff. But a lot of the dogs, like Siggy was just doing, they like to check out the neighborhood. It's not always where we're making them work and nothing else. They get to hang out, they get to be dogs. Next up is going to be your typical run-of-the-mill, boring bathroom. This is the bathroom that I use though. This is the dog's bathroom so that when they need a bath, that's the tub we are using. Lots of fun. Next up is going to be the room that everybody wants to see, the kennel room. This is where the dogs stay when they are with me. We have big 4-foot by 4-foot kennels. We also have a rough, tough kennel there. That's going to be for our high anxiety dogs, the dogs that don't necessarily like to be in a kennel. It's going to be much safer because it's actually one whole piece. It doesn't piece together. The door is a lot thicker plastic so they can't chew through or bend the door, and it's a lot safer. That's, like I said, going to be for our high anxiety dogs, the ones that want to try to get out of the kennel, the ones that get very nervous, but also for the little dogs that like to be in that smaller space as opposed to a big kennel. Now this is where the dogs stay when they're not supervised. This is where the dogs stay when they're sleeping, but this is also where the dogs are at when they're eating. If it's a taller dog, I have bowls that actually hook onto the side so that I can elevate and make that bowl higher or lower depending on the dog. So it's always about the safety of them. First thing is safety. Which leads me into, as you can see right there in front of the orange box, there's a little gray box with an exclamation. I don't know if you can see it that far, but that's going to be a temperature sensor. That is giving me alerts if the temperature goes above or below the set temperatures that I have in here. So we're always thinking about the safety for the dogs, always keeping track of the room. This kennel right here, right now, has a cot in it. I recently switched over to where we don't have the dogs sleeping with their beds. I've had a couple incidences where the dogs have had upset stomachs and they've ultimately ruined their beds. And I try to clean them as best I can, but that's not always possible. So what I've told owners now is if a dog can sleep in a bed without destroying it, they can sleep on one of the cots. And the cots are actually cooler. It keeps them off of the floor, and most of the dogs are using it in training anyway, so they get used to it and they learn to appreciate it. So we are using the cots for them here. This is another kennel. It's going to be your run-of-the-mill. Don't use it very often unless I need a quick fix, but mainly it's my table. I have my charger here for the systems. I have a sound machine, which I play. It's usually always on because I don't have any dogs right now, it's not. But I play that constantly in here. Reason being, it makes me feel better that it's not completely dead silent. It also helps to drown out any noise that may be going on outside of the room when the dogs are in here. This is going to be my diffuser. If I have dogs that are, you know, a little more nervous, have a little more anxiety, I'm going to use that diffuser for them to try to help set a little calmer ambiance in here for the dogs. Behind me, curtains in the window. I use blackout curtains and they hardly ever get opened unless I'm, you know, cleaning out the room, which happens usually about once a week. Definitely once every 2 weeks. Each time a dog goes home, we're sanitizing and cleaning each kennel. But the reason I use blackout curtains, my house faces south, so that sun is beating in, especially in the summertime. So I have those blackout curtains to help regulate the temperature in here. But I also help it to keep it dark in here. When we're working and constantly switching the dogs in and out on an hourly basis, we really want the dogs to sleep and relax when they're in here. And we want to give that, again, that ambiance that, you know, it's nighttime, it's sleep time, so that when they are in here, they're totally relaxed. They don't have the stimulation of the sun. We try to, like I said, keep out as many of the noises as we can. So we're using those blackout curtains to help regulate temperature, but to keep it a little darker in here. We also have an air purifier that we use and a camera so that I can check in on the dogs if I have to. That camera actually also has a temperature sensor so that it alerts me on the temperature as well if it goes above or below. I don't think that fan has stopped moving since I moved in here, with the exception of turning it off to clean it. But this is going to be the kennel room. The rubber mats on the floor, that helps to obviously clean it a lot better, sanitize it, and keep it nice and clean in here for them. The concrete obviously helps to keep it sanitary too, as opposed to carpet or even tile right now. But this is going to be where the dogs stay. This is going to be, you know, a good example of a kennel room. We have the bigger kennels, obviously, for the bigger dogs. We have the kennel for the high anxiety. We have an extra kennel if we ever need it. Most times we have between 2 and 3 dogs that we are training at a time. Anything more than that, and we run out of time in the day to train each of the dogs. So, you know, size matters. Also, you know, that anxiety is going to play a part in which kennel they are going in. So, and as we walk out, I'm also going to show you that I have a gate set up for in here. Just an extra line of defense in case we ever have a dog that likes to try to get out of kennels, because dogs try. That's going to help. But also if I need to, you know, have the dog go in the room real quick and not necessarily have to kennel them, that's what we're going to be doing. So that's my home. You know, it's your typical home. The main difference is I'm bringing dogs in and out all the time, and I try to make it as homey as possible for them. So real quick, we're going to run outside and see the yard. And that's gonna be the yard. Little muddy from the rain. Just helps with me getting things clean. But as you can see, I try to have as much grass as I can for the dogs. A little tougher to do out here, but I'm an East Coast girl. I love my grass. I love the green. So, try to get as much grass in there as possible. What we also have around the corner is I have a couple of outside kennels. There's a swimming pool there from when Danica was getting a bath earlier today, but I have 2 outside kennels. The gates close on both of them. I also have a third kennel that I can set up. But these 2 kennels, dogs are not kenneled out here regularly. This is if I have to quick put one up and need to pull another one out. They're both about 20 foot by 30 foot kennels. Like I said, not used very often, but we have them if we need them. So that's going to be the yard. Probably a little more decent sized yard for Arizona, but I could always use bigger. One other thing I wanted to show you out here is going to be another watering station, and this is your automatic watering station. So as the dogs drink it, it keeps filling up. It's hooked up to the water source and it's constantly on. This is if we're working outside, or even if the dogs are running around outside. I like to have a constant source of water for them, especially in the summertime, but we pretty much use it all year round. So that's going to be another source of water for them. And as you can see, toys are all over the place, but another toy box full of toys for the dogs. And we'll go over to this side of the yard where we have our gate, and always locked except when I'm bringing my lawn guys in to cut the grass for me. But that's going to be the outside. We do a lot of work outside, especially in the summertime. I have the mister system up. I have a couple shades on either side where the sun is rising or setting to help keep some of that sun out too. But that's gonna be the backyard. So as it gets a little darker here, we're gonna wind it down for the night. But I hope that this was helpful for you. I hope that everybody enjoyed being able to see at least an example of where the dogs are staying. We look forward to helping you in the future. If you have questions, give us a call, shoot us a message, give us a text, and we'll get them answered for you. And we can't wait to help you guys with your dog. You guys have a good one. Bye.